Understood and Taken Goals. Welcome to the Live It, Lead It podcast, the brand new cast for business leaders, not only in IT, who want to achieve more in less time. If you are a leader in IT or want to become one very soon, this is your program. If you are a business leader and want to grow personally, this is your program. If you want to improve your own performance and simply live a better life, then this is your program. Greetings from Europe to all the successful people around the world. I'm your host, Olaf Kapinski. And now we jump right into the first topic, and I believe one of the most important topics when it comes to success and when it comes to live an awesome life. And the topic is quite obvious, the goal. And let's start with Wikipedia's definition of a goal. Let me share this with you. Wikipedia says, a goal is an idea of the future or desired result that a person or a group of people envisions, plans, and commits to achieve. People endeavor to reach goals within a finite time by setting deadlines. A goal is roughly similar to a purpose or aim, the anticipated result which guides reaction, or an end, which is an object, either a physical object or an abstract object that has intrinsic value. Very nice lexicon style text, I like that. It's very, very abstract and broken down to the ground. Mainly an objective is something that we want to achieve or that we have to achieve. Let's not dive too much into the differences between objective and vision and mission. We just stick to the word goal. Very high level, very general. Our main task as leader is to achieve a goal. For that, we've been given resources, we've been given tools, we've been given money, we've been given our people, whatever it is, but that's mainly our task. The task is, here is the resources, here is the goal, go achieve it. This is what we live for every day. There are lots of well-known techniques how we can take this given goal and bring it down to the people, bring it down to our people so that they have the chance to understand what we want to achieve and that they then with as much power as they can, help us to support this objective. I think everybody knows the SMART concept. So the S is for specific, the goal needs to be or has to be understandable, has to be very precise, has to be, let's say explainable. It has to be measurable, so that means you have to either be able to observe that it's achieved. It's achievable. It has to be achievable. Something that is somewhat within range. It has to be relevant. That's what some of the business objectives just simply lack. The objective that we want to achieve has to be relevant. If it's not relevant, then it's just not relevant, and it has to be time bounded. That's the T. As far as that, it's, I think, very well known, and that is not at all my topic for today. Let me start with the thesis that objectives are the only driver that people have. So, example, the famous Ironman. It's the 4 kilometers swimming, it's the 180 kilometers bicycling, and the 42 kilometers running afterwards. Don't get me wrong. I don't even think about participating in something like that. This would take me minimum 5 days or so. But the athletes starting at Hawaii, they need something like 8 hours for that. Those people have to survive and to finish their training, even the training. They have to have a huge objective. That objective to join in, to participate, and to finish the Ironman has to be so huge for them that it's worth all the pain on the training. And I mean, let's again go back to the numbers. This is 4 kilometers of swimming. Yeah, okay, I'm a swimmer, so that's challenging, but not really a problem. But then 180 kilometers on the bike, come on. And then at the same set afterwards, just because we're just warmed up, 42 kilometers of running. I believe your objective has to be huge in your head to prepare yourself to participate for that. All of that is done by the best athletes that start there in somewhat in the 8 hours. That's a working day. Objectives are the only driver that people have. If you make your own goal that large, then you can participate in the Ironman. Well, at least then you can seriously start your training. So, okay, I get it. When I say goals are the only driver that people have, then maybe the Ironman is a bit high chunk. Let's take something out of your history. Take something that you have achieved. Maybe it's your diploma, your MBA, a marathon that you've participated, something sporty, something, whatever it is, something outstanding, something huge. So at least I can talk for myself. And when I made my diploma, I knew I will make it. I didn't went to the university to just give it a try or something. And you need to know that in Germany, universities are for free. So you don't have to pay anything. I mean, apart from your living. But the university itself, back in the days, was free. Now it costs a very, very, very small amount. But that means that I had student colleagues who were just there because they wanted to give it a try, and if it doesn't work, then they do something else. I didn't have that. I was working beforehand. I knew. Dude, you only leave this university with the diploma. There is no other way out. I didn't have any picture of me not achieving this, and I knew it was hard, So, but that was the big picture, and I had it in my mind without knowing that I had it in my mind. Now, rewinding it back, I can say it. I didn't focus on the details. I didn't focus on physics 1, 2, 3. There is this cube, there is this slope with a defined friction, and you just let the cube run down to that slope, and how fast is it when it comes down? Rubbish. Yes, I know that, and I did learn the math around that, and I could, but that was never my goal. I didn't wake up and said, well, today you learn how this bloody cube behaves on that slope. Was it fun? No, it wasn't. Not at all. Because it's just boring, and this is nothing that you do over the day. And I understand that all of this special foundation work, so to say, is just only to learn how to suffer. That's what our teacher said. But it's learn to organize yourself and learn to learn. So it was never about the bloody cube. It was always, this is how I woke up every morning. It was always, okay, some more month, and then you leave this year. Then you are Diplom-Ingenieur, German Diplom-Ingenieur, and then the game starts. That was the motivation. This was the big dream, and that's my statement. If you get in action, if you start doing something, then you always have a big picture of the end state that you want to achieve. If you take the prime example. I mean, I can take the prime example from my past. Gardening. Here's this house with the garden around, and the winter is coming. And you need to prep the garden a little for wintertime. Wintertime means it gets below zero, so you just need to cut down some trees, and you must make sure that there is no water in the hoses, because when the water freezes, then the hose rips and stuff and like that. So there is some work that has to be done, and there is some work that wants to be done, like covering the chairs, the summer chairs, and covering everything and bring it a little bit in the behind the wall, that it just, survives the wind when it comes. And I was very good in postponing that. I mean, really good in postponing that. Until my wife back in the days, then, she just came and said, don't you think it's time for just getting the garden ready? I mean, in brackets, now. And yeah. Then I went out and just did it. I mean, I did the stuff that she could see, and then I came back in and said, done. That worked for a week. And then she ran around in the garden and saw that nothing really, that nothing has been done, that I've just moved stuff from here to there. What did happen? It's quite clear. I didn't saw the end game. I didn't saw that the garden was in a nice shape and form, that everything was prepared for winter, and more important, for the thunderstorms that go above it in March, April times. I didn't saw that. I didn't saw that the barbecue of my neighbors was flying around, but mine was nicely connected and covered behind that wall. I didn't saw that. What I saw was a job that makes me dirty, and I need to shower afterwards and just have dirty hands. And the second thing that I saw was my wife beating me up. So what did I do? I mean, now put the puzzle pieces to each other. I said people have two motivations: get to or get away from. I was running on the get away from motivation. I did exactly what it took to not get beaten up, in brackets, that day by my wife. That was all. It was not the intrinsic driver of, I didn't had that picture. The only thing that drives us are big pictures of stuff that we want to achieve. Lots of people, especially in business, have a big picture of what they do not want to have. A shouting boss, for example. And this is the difference in the motivation. If you implant, so to say, a picture in your brain or in the brain of your employees or even your boss of something that wants to be achieved, a big picture, a colorful picture, a movie with everything there, a big idea of what we want to achieve, then people start to go there. If you plant a picture in the mind of the people of what you do not want to achieve, then people run away exactly as long as they need to not be exactly there to that. It's like putting your hand on a hot stove. You do not do nice movements with your hands. When your hand touches the bloody hot stove, you just pull your hand away. That's all. It's on average 20 centimeters, so that you have your hand in front of your chest, and that's it. This is not a driver. This is not a motivation. This is nothing that I want to have in business terms. I do not want that my people work exactly that smallest possible amount that it takes to not get beaten up by the boss. Because this is useless. This is useless waste of everything. The people have no fun. The people don't achieve anything. They just do stupid jobs. And the boss then gets frustrated because it's not done as he wanted it to be. I hope he or she wanted something. So this is the big difference between the get to and the get away motivation. Running away doesn't lead you nowhere. And this is not how a business runs. My thesis is that you only start to do something like this famous journey that starts with the first step. The first step only happens if you know where to go to, if you have an idea of why you do that. So now go back to the beginning of the episode. What type of objectives do so many companies give? Not useful objectives. Increase the shareholder value by 5%. Increase the turnaround by, and then a number. Garbage. This is garbage, because how does it look like? And I can imagine how it looks like to increase shareholders' value of X percent, 10% or something. I can imagine that, but that is not attractive. This is, number one, usually I'm not the shareholder. I mean, not one of the shareholders. Even if I'm a shareholder, then this 10% is maximum 10 euros. I mean, apart from you are a Google employee in the very early phase of their career with the company. But in an average company, what does shareholder value upgrade of 10% bring me in my pocket? Maybe $100, maybe $1,000 at the end of the year in 1 year? Sorry, that's not worth it. The second thing is, it is not attractive, because my imagination of the 10% stock value upgrade is a dark background with a golden line, and it looks heavily like one of these stock exchange diagrams that you can see there. This is nothing that brings me out of bed in the morning. I do not care about a number objective, and I am only a representation of everybody else's brain, nobody wakes up and says, ha, 5%. This is the meaning of my life today. Nobody at all does it. So pathetically enough that those companies, or that the majority of companies, still give those objectives out. They can do that. I don't care. If you, as a business leader, receive those BS objectives, don't give them to your employees. That's my hot tip for the episode. Don't give them to your employees. Exactly. But what do you do instead? I know, I can hear what you say. Think about, what is your purpose? Why are you there? I mean, not necessarily on this planet, but let's do it very, very small, very, very low. What is the meaning of your organization? If you are a leader, then potentially you have an organization that you lead. To do what? What is it that your organization is responsible for? What is it that makes you as a person successful? And in brackets, then what makes your organization successful? I want that everybody has fun, but that is a piece of egoism. Number one, it makes you more fun if you have fun. Number two, your people work better. They deliver much better if you bring them into a fun mode. And I'm not talking about just only doing barbecue and then go back to the desk and then puke at the desk because the desk is still in a shabby company. I talk about that you create an atmosphere with your people within your organization, that the people really want to be there. And if you do not believe me that this is possible, stay tuned. This is my main mission that I'm on, and it works. I've proven evidence. I made it with my last organizations that I was leading. So don't give those number objectives down the hierarchy chain to your people, because they cannot deal with it. I'm not saying they cannot intelligence-wise understand it. That's not my point. But they can understand it, and it still has no deeper meaning for anybody. So think about why are you there? What's the idea of your organization? And then make your own goals. Make your own goals means if you receive something, like one of this 10%, some number objective, I don't want to beat it up too hard. What can you do with your organization to somewhat support that objective? And I mean it in real world terms. What is it that you can really do? For example, you run a service desk. We are a bit, the podcast is not necessarily exclusively for IT people, but I come out of IT. So this, you will hear IT-ish examples all the time, or most of the time, because this is the stuff that I know and that I made. So when you run a service desk and your company has one objective of customer satisfaction, and the customers call your hotline, welcome the club. So then you can deal with it. Then you can bring this down to something that is really reasonable for your agents on the front line, on the phones. If you receive a number objective, don't bring it down. Don't bring it down in the hierarchy. Don't give it to your employees. It's your job. In my world, it's your job as a leader to make a very good objective out of it that the people can take over. The title of this episode is Understood and Taken Goals. My assumption is that you can communicate with your folks and that the understanding part is not the thing. But understanding doesn't lead you anywhere. You want that the people take those goals and make them their own. And as I said, this is the main story in this podcast, and we'll go back to that again and again and again, and I give you ideas how to achieve this. So if you are now back on the objective side of things, what to do? You do not give, let's say, meaningless numbers out, or meaningless objectives out. You turn it around. It doesn't make sense to disturb your folks with some percentage stuff. We need to increase the turnaround of the company of X billion. Yeah, that's, this is nice numbers, but that doesn't mean anything when it really comes to the point. You can see what I'm talking about. You can see it perfectly in the real world when it comes to lose weight. And you can see it perfectly. In Germany, we just take over stuff from America, and we even take over the stuff that we have evidence for that doesn't work. And this is the whole losing weight industry. It does not work. Why doesn't it work? Because it starts with the wording. Lose weight. How does that sound? That sounds like casting, like cracking the whip on my own ass, like not eating anymore. This is not fun. This is not what I want to do. And even worse, I can never achieve it because it's an activity. It's not a goal. Losing weight is something that you do, not something that you can see. I can see that you do not eat, in brackets, and I can see that you just go and kill the fridge at night. Yeah. But losing weight is nothing that is in any shape or form attractive, and that is nothing that people can achieve. This is to me the main mistake of the whole weight loss industry. When you let's stay with the losing weight stuff for a second. When you start with making a big picture in the head of the people of how they want to look like, that requires that you need to deal with it, what they want. Do you want to be skinny? Do you want to be muzzled? Big difference. Do you want to be, want to have more endurance? What does that mean? Do you want to have more strength? What does that mean? And when you're then filling out what this person really wants, then we're getting to the point, guess what? I don't want to lose weight. I want that I can, on the beach, remove my shirt and nobody starts laughing. Aha! So now we are in a different story. With that picture, we can work. And if you make this picture big in the brain of the person that you work with, then you can always give that person this picture when it comes to achieving something, when it comes to doing something. Sometimes we even have, those jobs that nobody wants to do, but they have to be done, da-di-da, yeah, everything is good. When you have such a picture, then the people can deal with it. But nobody can deal with meaningless numbers. So, going back to your job, you need to understand what your what the idea behind your organization is, what makes the organization happen, and what is it? Why are you there? What's the meaning of it? And then give this reasonable measures that the people can identify with. When we talk about the person that wants to be just, be able to get out of the shirt on the beach, then we may talk about a diameter of the belly, maybe. We may talk about a comparison picture. You will find a picture that represents how this person wants to look like, and then you can, then you can observe it in the right matter, and then you can say, okay, we are not losing weight. We are making you, my friend, look like this picture. This is how it gets attractive. This is how the people just start to work. And your job, I believe, is the same. It's exactly the same in your organization. You need to find the right points where you can support the company's objectives. Then, once you have that, you translate those into goals for your own organization. And then, those goals you make observable by the right numbers. Well, it's maybe numbers, I don't know. And then you go out and do your job. What do I mean by that? I make a brave statement now. And the statement goes like this. Nobody knows the objectives of its company. It's a brave statement, and I'm afraid that it is true for 99 and then pick a number % of the employees on the globe. Why is that the case? Because an average leader, let's go in a big company, they don't talk to their employees. Yeah. Why is that the case? Let's go through it. Either you are in an organization where nobody really thinks about goals. We are here since eternity and we just do the stuff that we've done since eternity. And those companies see the end of the line coming because we're in the 21st century now. We have still tons of organizations where you cannot see any, let's call it a goal culture. People do stuff because either they are forced to do, or this is the stuff where they just got beaten up for the least possible. So it's not really at least in Germany and Hungary where I sit at the moment. It's not a big culture of we do this because of that goal that we all want to achieve. It's not there. This is one option. The second option is, I see the other extreme as well, and this is leaders who really deserve to be called leaders, who know what they want to achieve, and when you talk to them, they know the objectives for themselves, for their organization, and it's crystal clear. You can put them on stage at every time of the day, and they can just refer about their objectives or their goal ideas for hours because they have it to the point. But they assume that everybody has it as clear as they have as well. But I wrote them an email. This is what I hear very often. Now we're back to my idea of your job. Your job is, once you have your objective, to communicate it to your people, 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 to communicate it to your people. No, that was not a mistake in the audio file. This is what I believe is your job. I haven't seen it at all that you can over communicate your goal ideas. You will not talk to your folks 6 hours every day anyways, or even 8 hours anyways. Yeah, you're busy enough. So take all the time that you have. We will talk about communication a lot in this podcast. Take all the time that you have and always refer to the objectives. Make sure they understand your objectives. As I said, I've never heard an employee who said, yes, I know what objectives we have. It's this, it's that. Some have a vague idea. And when I ask in my trainings, the employees, explain me your objective, it was never the same as the boss who explained me his objectives. So there is always this gap in communication, and you don't want to have this gap in the communication. You want to keep the objective present, go to them, talk to them, share it with them, talk to them. And another thing which I'm only touching today, given the time that we are at, nothing is important. What? Sure, there's tons of things important. No, nothing is important. Stuff is not important. Stuff is. We make things important, especially we as leaders make things important. If you talk about your goals and the goals of your company or your organization only once a year, well, talking about importance. Keep your goals that you share with your folks, keep it as a topic every week. Give it to them, talk about it, so that this stays in the brain of your people, that they understand what you want to achieve. And this is the big difference. In my world, the big difference, and this is leaders that make the big difference between understood goals, yeah, everybody can understand the sentence, and taken goals into the heart and brain of your employees so that they execute it and get there. So that's my thinking that's a piece of my thinking of that topic. Keep tuned. No, stay tuned. Stay tuned. And fast forward. Next episode is coming. Have a great day. Cheers, Olaf.